No one really remembered when the jokes about Michael Carter began, only that by the time he hit 7th grade, they were routine. He was the quiet kid from the rundown side of town, the one with secondhand shoes and a backpack held together with tape. His silence made him easy to target. His existence made him unforgettable only for the wrong reasons. One chilly October morning, during gym, a group of popular boys handed him a golf club. They snickered, whispering about how kids like him didn't belong anywhere near something so expensive. Their laughter filled the field before the ball even moved. But when Michael finally swung, everything changed. The ball cut through the air with impossible precision, straight, powerful, almost graceful. The laughter stopped. Even Coach Hayes, who rarely lifted his eyes from the attendance sheet, blinked like he'd just witnessed something impossible. From that day forward, golf wasn't a joke anymore. It was an invitation. Or so everyone thought. Coach Hayes began pulling Michael out of class to train him privately. People assumed it was mentorship, a beautiful underdog transformation. But the truth was darker. Coach knew something no one else did. Michael wasn't new to the sport. His father, now serving time for a crime the town still whispered about, had been a rising golf star before everything fell apart. No one talked about Michael's father. Not teachers. Not neighbors. Not even Michael. Though sometimes, when late-night lights stayed on in their tiny living room, his mother could be heard muttering, "He's not going to become him." I won't let history repeat. As tournaments approached, Michael changed. He wasn't nervous. He was cold, controlled, too controlled. His swings weren't practiced. They were perfect, unnaturally perfect. His classmates watched the transformation with fascination and fear. The more he won, the stranger things became. Rival players found their clubs mysteriously damaged. Teammates received anonymous messages warning them not to stand in his way. And Coach Hayes, once confident, began acting paranoid, checking over his shoulder, whispering to teachers that he'd gone too far. Then came the day everything snapped. At a regional championship match, Michael stood poised for his final shot, a winning shot. Coach approached him before he swung, grabbing his wrist too tightly. "You don't have to beat him," he whispered through clenched teeth. Michael's expression didn't change. He gently removed the coach's hand and took the shot anyway. It was flawless, a victory, but celebration never came. Moments later, Coach Hayes collapsed just feet from the green, unconscious, barely breathing. Witnesses would later say Michael didn't react with shock or fear. He just stared, his face blank, as if he'd been waiting. The investigation that followed tore the town apart. Rumors spread, poison, sabotage, revenge. The deeper detectives dug, the more unsettling details surfaced. Coach and Michael's father had once been teammates. There had been a scandal, a betrayal, a cover-up, and then one final twist. Security footage from the tournament revealed something chilling. Just before the match, Coach Hayes had switched golf balls, unaware that Michael switched them back when no one was watching. The courtroom buzzed with theories, accident or intention, masterpiece or coincidence. Michael never testified. He never explained. He simply sat in silence, eyes unreadable. The judge eventually ruled the coach's collapse as inconclusive, leaving the case open but unresolved. Michael walked out free. Now, a year later, he stands on another pristine golf course, richer, polished, admired. People call him a miracle, a prodigy, a story of resilience. But every time he lines up for a swing, he smiles, not with joy, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows things others don't. Because somewhere in the shadows, his father writes him letters from prison, short, cryptic notes. And the most recent one chills everyone who's seen it. Good. They finally see what you're capable of. Now tell me, son, who's next? After the investigation fizzled and the town grew quiet again, Michael Carter's rise only accelerated. Golf brands wanted his face. Schools wanted his name. Networks wanted his story. The humble outsider who defied a system built for wealth and entitlement. But behind the polished interviews and scripted smiles, something twisted continued growing. Michael didn't celebrate wins. He studied them like data, like patterns, like weaknesses. The first person to notice the change was his mother. She found the letters hidden in his room, dozens of them, all from his father, all written in the same neat, controlled handwriting. None contained affection. Instead, they read like instructions, lessons, tests, and one line repeated in every envelope. Power isn't taken, it's proven. His mother confronted him one night. Her voice shook. You're not him. You don't have to become him. Michael stared at her, not with anger, but with a chilling neutrality. I'm not becoming him, he whispered. I'm becoming better. After that conversation, she never asked again. Not after the rival prodigy mysteriously withdrew from a major tournament. Not after a wealthy sponsor abruptly stepped down following an accidental leak of his personal scandals. Not even after the investigator who reopened Coach Hayes' case was found unconscious in his office. No signs of struggle, no clear cause, just like before. Michael didn't react to any of it. But every time another letter arrived, and every time his smile grew just a little more confident. Then came the tournament that changed everything. The Gallagher Invitational, a high-stakes competition reserved for the elite. It was broadcast nationwide, millions watching. In the audience, invited quietly and officially, sat his father, shackles replaced by suit cuffs, a temporary release granted for rehabilitation observation. Whispers rippled across the green. When Michael stepped into position for his final swing, the world fell silent. But just before he lifted the club, someone approached. Detective Erin Lowe, the same woman investigating Coach Hayes' collapse, the same one who refused to drop the case. She leaned close and whispered just loud enough for cameras to catch it. We analyzed the golf balls. We know what you did. Michael didn't flinch. Instead, he lifted his head, eyes calm, expression unreadable, and searched the crowd until he found his father. The man nodded. Almost imperceptible. A signal. Then Michael swung. The ball arced across the air. Perfect, impossible, breathtaking. Reporters would later call it the shot of the decade. Cheers erupted. Detective Lowe didn't clap. She watched him with steady eyes. Moments later, while the crowd celebrated, 2 federal agents stepped forward. Not toward Michael. Toward his father. The former prodigy turned felon went pale, fury and shock worn behind his polished expression. Michael stepped aside, letting the officers pass. His father's voice cracked through clenched teeth. Michael, stop this. Tell them. For the first time in the entire tournament, Michael smiled genuinely and whispered, this was never about learning from you. It was about stopping you. His father froze, processing the impossible truth. Michael continued softly, so only he could hear. I didn't become you, I exposed you. The agents escorted the man away as cameras swarmed. Chaos unfolding live. Michael didn't follow. He simply stood on the green, the world watching, and repeated a sentence his father once wrote to him, now twisted in meaning. Power isn't taken, it's proven. The next morning, headlines exploded. Reporters demanded one final answer. Was Michael a prodigy or a mastermind? He didn't deny, he didn't confess. He just gave the world one chilling statement. There's still more truths buried. And trust me, we're not done.